Good evening. How's it going? Welcome, Karen. Hey there. Let me turn the Instagram on. Okay. I'm getting used to this setup. Karen, how does this sound come across right now? Does it still sound like I'm in a tin can? I'll wait until you tell me. How is it? I did a little test earlier. Thank you for giving me that feedback. How is the sound? Welcome, everyone. Thank you for joining. Waiting to hear how our sound is going and how Facebook. Let me check Facebook to see if everything is connecting. Oh, I see. It went ahead and I just have to set it to. I wonder why it won't let me. Bear with me, everyone. I'm trying to open the. Weird, it won't let me set it to 1 minute. It won't let me change the setting in Facebook. How weird. The sound is good? Good. Thank you, Bridget. Thank you, Karen. Okay, we're good. Okay, great. And hello. Hey, the guru. Welcome. And Bridget. Hello. Jamie. Meet me. All right. Welcome from Instagram. I want to be able to see you over there on Instagram. Whoever's joining, thank you. Welcome. I don't understand the Facebook setting. It will only do this as a private, only me. That's so weird. I'm live on Facebook, but nobody can see it. And I set it to be public. Okay, I'm going to edit privacy. Let's see. Oh, no, that's not the one I wanted to edit. How's it going, everyone? Welcome. Give me a minute to fix the Facebook. And it, okay, public. You all, whoever's joining, thank you. Okay. Instagram is good. Thank you. Instagram is good. Welcome on Instagram. I'm trying to get this this setting for Facebook, and it's maybe if I do it on my laptop. I tried. Okay, I'm sorry. 1 minute. Give me a minute, please. I'm gonna try it again. I see it here. Unbelievable how it doesn't give me the option. I'm going to figure this out on the Facebook side. But for now, it is making the video private. Settings, 1 minute. All right. I just have to, I have to do it after the stream is over, which makes no sense. Facebook. Okay. Okay, I'm not able to do it right now. Sorry. We're going to get started in just a bit. Okay. I'll have to set it to public after the stream. Makes no sense. Let's continue. If I've missed anyone, thank you for joining. I'm going to see if I can see people over on Instagram. When you don't move how they predict. I seen cracks with you overnight. Turn on you for thinking right. That I ain't built for borrowed views. I'd rather stand and blend with you. Karen said everything was good over on Instagram. Hey there, Hermana. Welcome. Thank you for joining. Okay, so Instagram is good. Thank you on Instagram. I'm sorry I can't see you right now. Whatever is going on with the settings, we're just going to keep moving, okay? Hey, Raylene. Welcome, Raylene. Welcome. As long as the sound, the guru, I don't sound like I'm in a tin can anymore. I tried to set everything to be better. We're going to get started in just a bit, okay? Thank you for coming by. I've been noticing a lot of people from 2020, 2019. We're starting to find each other again. And I want to tell you something. We are going to have a good time with the rest of this rewind, retrospective. It's going to get really interesting. I've been wanting to rewind the years from 2016 to 2020 especially. And we're going to get to do that very soon. That's when we get into the whole aspect of how we all got together. All right. We came together for a shared purpose, right? Bridget, thank you so much for that super sticker. Thank you. I really appreciate that. Thank you. Thank you. So we got together, a lot of us, in 2019. And we came together because some, I'll say, blind items that we were starting to read and back channels that things were being leaked to the public. And some of us were asked to come and get on the digital battlefield, because once we rewind this year that we're about to do for this episode, you're going to really see how this digital battlefield was starting to form. And we were behind. Wouldn't you agree? We were behind when it comes to the information war. And I say we as the people who are on one particular side of this great divide. And we were very concerned about children and what was happening to children. We were learning things about old ancient groups of people that operate in a certain way and continue to operate in these ways. And we are now coming together to observe patterns even more. I think that this time of rewinding and retrospective analysis is going to be very important. I really trust me with this. It's helping me to see things that we were too busy. When we look at time, we talk about time a lot. It is not linear. Time is, what did we say? It's kind of swirly, but it's not linear. And we are watching the aftermath of this culture war, which was lost by, I'll say, the leftist, the Marxists, the liberals. They have lost the culture war and the narrative. And they lost it fair and square because they had a head start on it and we were behind. And now that we have caught up, and I believe that the Most High Yah has given us extra, if you want to say time has been kind if you're on a certain side. Time is very kind. We don't fear time. And your time will be redeemed if you're on the right side. It will be redeemed. Yeah. Jamie says, I found you from your original nurse. The nurse rant. That's a classic. I've got to try to find that rant. That was a channel that was taken away, everyone, because they said that I was providing medical misinformation because I was sharing how ivermectin and other alternative treatments were helping. And I was also telling people not to be fearful, to really give informed consent for everything that they were embarking on, especially putting jabs into their bodies. I was just trying to encourage people to think twice, do your research, and give your full consent. And I was deplatformed for a lot of that kind of stuff. I was just getting in trouble left and right with the censorship. I was telling people I wasn't wearing a mask. I mean, I was doing everything but, whatever. I was just not complying. And my channels, I had some channels taken away. They even told me that I was interfering with the 2020 election. I got a message for that. My original Instagram channel was taken away because they said I was interfering with the election. My little channel, little me over here, how can I interfere with a presidential election? But that just lets you know how threatened the system is, that you can be a little voice, a little light, and you can threaten the system and you can fight against the forces of evil. All of us can. Every voice is needed. So let's start with thank you. Yes, thank you, Bridget, again. The guru says not today, but Twink might have. Oh, really? It doesn't sound bad today? I don't sound like I'm in a tin can. Good. Okay, let me get myself down into the corner here and let's begin our rewind of the timeline 2008. This is episode 44, which is very apropos to the fact that the president that is now emerging onto the world stage is number 44. Isn't that interesting that it coincides with this episode? I found that to be interesting. So this is Hopey Changey. We were told that we had a lot of hope and a lot of change. And what do you think? Was it a lot of hope and change there? What did you get from that period of time? Because some people really did get a lot from it, and they long for those golden years of President 44. Some people really would like to see him come back to power. Jeffrey is here. Welcome, Jeffrey. You said I went to J6 hoping to see you, or Prime. I went and left a day early. God saved my life. Oh, wow. I'm so glad you avoided a lot of the foolishness that was going on. Yeah, so when it comes to this particular year, we were shifting from somewhat like it was a panic going on, from confidence that was beginning to build up a little bit. The Bush administration was very problematic. The handoff to President 44, it was smooth. But the confidence from that previous era began to collapse into a panic. And people were checking their 401ks, and they had a dread was starting to form. It's like if you check a car engine and it's on fire. That's how people felt about checking their 401k. And I can see something of the I'm sorry, I went to Instagram. Let me know if things are still good on the Instagram side. I'm trying to keep up with a few, I can't check Facebook because that's not working out. But I'm just trying to check a few things in the middle of talking here. So again, the financial world was beginning to crumble, and we were going to have major fallout. And the illusion of whatever that money bubble that we were kind of in, the too big to fail. Do you remember that being touted a lot? Too big to fail. That was happening. So the instability, there was a housing issue, the great housing issue crisis was starting to loom over the country. The bank bailouts to the Lehman Brothers and the housing bubble was bursting. And there was a quiet takeover happening of tech. Thank you. Instagram is good. Welcome on Instagram. If you're joining on Instagram, thank you. I want to see your, if you have any comments. Bear with me, okay? This is new for me, the Instagram part. Okay, so let's get into, you can see the players on the world stage here. Hey there, did I say it right? Viality 205. You said October. That was when the crash happened. Interesting. October. You remember. How many people remember that period of time? Yes. RPC Music says too big to fail equals pay for our mess. Exactly. The taxpayers paid. Indeed. Indeed. That's what happened. Okay, so I just wanted to let anyone know I posted a video. I just wanted to let you know where it went. I took it down because NBC is very I don't know. They're really strict about using their content. I was definitely doing the reaction that's under the fair use, and I tried to send a, whatever, an appeal, and I just didn't want to appeal it again. So I'm just going to redo it. So if you did get to watch it in whatever region I think in the US and Canada, it wasn't playing. But in other regions, if you were able to see it, because we do have an international family here, I will just redo it and repost it. And the name of it was The Black Crusaders and Cultural Policing. It's dealing with what's happening to the singer Chili Rosanda Thomas of TLC. And what is happening, she is being drugged by her beautiful baby hairs right now by the leftist Democrats. And she felt she had to apologize. I think that was the worst thing she could have ever done. You never apologize for your stand, what you believe in. You never let a gang of a mob bully you into changing your mind. That is absolutely a cult. So unfortunately, she has to depend on the cult and their support of her because she's about to go on a tour, and that's going to mess up her money. That's the unfortunate part of being tied into that world. They've been messed up, that group. What happened to them, of course, you've heard about what happened to TLC and the industry, how they treated them. So she's continuing to be controlled and abused. Very unfortunate, but she apologized. And I'm going to put that up again, like I said, and I'll just keep you posted. I just want to let you know that. So here's a infographic we can look at. This was the great fracture. You have finance versus tech. And like I said, it was a quiet tech takeover. And it was an illusion of financial engineering. They were just masking the high risk debt leading to the total collapse. And also, systemic trust was ruptured. So we have the confidence turning into panic. You can see the housing market, the bubble. The youth were at a breaking point. In 2008, you had the moment where college to career, that promise was officially broken. As you know, we started the gig economy where people weren't able to get full-time employment anymore. You had a lot of, what do you call it? Like temporary temp work, gig economy. And the employers didn't want to hire people permanently. So that really messed up the whole dream of going to college and coming out and having a career. And so the housing market, the crisis there, like I said, it just, even today we're having echoes of that unresolved issue. So you could probably let me know in the comments what you think about that. So it's just more of, the bailouts happening, and you can see the rusty pipes and the holes in the system crumbling, the system crumbling. So Shy entered the chat. Chilaga. Now, I don't know how many of you realize that Hillary Clinton is from the Chi. She's from a suburb in the Chi. So interestingly, we have a lot of people, not so much everyone here born in Chicago, but living in that city, calling it home, and it became an epicenter of politics. And Chicago is notorious for its corruption, deep, deep corruption. I was born in the Chilaga area. So I was born in this area, but raised in Philadelphia. So I have a certain affinity towards Chicago. But interestingly, like I said, it's a lot of people, central casting. I like that. Central casting, the actors acting acts, faith over fear, creators create creation. Nice to see you live, living, loving. We take everything back. Yes, simplify. That's right. I like that message. So the central casting, the stage right now in 2008, we have Barack Obama, president number 44, rising to the office. And his rise was very odd for me because of his name. Something about that, whenever I heard his name for the first time, it hit me in a strange way because of 9/11. And it was weird that people were getting excited about somebody with such a name. That was just different. And his initial reception, I'll say, from the Black community was cold. It was chilly. It was lukewarm at best. People were not feeling him initially. And This was perfect for big tech because he was a definite creation of big tech. If it weren't for the iPhone, smartphone coming out, we had just looked at that the year before the iPhone comes out. It's perfect timing. We started with the influencer. Remember, I talked about the Obama girl, sexy woman singing about how she has a crush on Obama. So that they're starting the propaganda. And like I said, I was peeping everything. I'm an observer. Sometimes I'll sit back and observe only. And I observed people in my family and my friend group. They weren't feeling him at first, like I said. And what happened was Oprah Winfrey, who they call a kingmaker, Oprah Winfrey came through in a clutch, okay? And she put her hand on the anointed one. And her influence at the time was powerful. Now we've seen Oprah in circles of power. You've probably looked at the Forbes magazines when she's among the billionaire set, the, Bill Gates and Warren Buffett and these guys. She was in those rooms. Now, how she got to be in those rooms is something that we can talk about, because she had to do something to get in those rooms. And she was given a task. Welcome, David. Thank you for joining. Welcome. You love it. We need more of these videos by me. I love these videos. I love doing them. Okay. So if you love them, I will continue to be here. And what did Corinne say? You said, "Hi, Jennifer." Hey, Corinne. I agree. Chicago is like the epicenter of some kind. It is because ancient ancient Chicago, that's why I call it Shalaga. For the ones that like the old cartography, if you look at ancient cartography, you will see that that region was called Shilaga, and it was very advanced, right? The World's Fair, that World's Fair where they had the White City, they called it. It's just marble everywhere. And I love going to the Museum of Science and Industry. That was one of me and my dad's favorite things to do in Chicago. And he absolutely loved Chicago. He thought Chicago was on par with Paris when it comes to world-class cities. And I know if you don't know Chicago, that is probably laughable to you. But if you do know Chicago, it is a very amazing city. It really is. Hey, Beth. Hey, it's Beth's birthday today. Can we say happy birthday to Beth? Happy birthday, Beth. I've got to get a birthday song for birthday people. So if you come in here, let us know it's your birthday. Please give Beth a warm birthday greeting. Thank you for joining, Beth, on your birthday. You said she is the high witch of one of the groups of evil ones. Yes, I have heard that she's pretty high up there. You have to be pretty high up there. So, yeah, so she was called the Kingmaker. And she used all of that influence that she gathered all of those years and she put it into Obama. Now she had lost her influence. We got to see how much she lost her influence because she was supposed to make a queen and she couldn't make any queens. First of all, she supported Hillary. Do you remember? She did Hillary pretty dirty. She supported all Hills at first, the girl power, but then she had to shift her support to Barack, right? So she did the girls. Well, we all know this is all performative anyway. This whole feminist stuff, girl power, they're not really for the girls, not truly. But she could not make a queen out of Hillary. She couldn't throw her support onto the other I call beige Hillary, which is Kamala. I hear that Kamala is preparing for another run for the presidency. I hope she does run for the presidency. I really do, because she's a lot of fun to watch, right? It's really fun to watch her. So I hope she does run in 2028. I don't know about you all. I have no problem with it, but I hear she's preparing for a run, another one. So anyway, we also have Kanye West, Mr. West, emerging. And Mr. West, when you think about him at this time in his life, I know people say what they want about him now. He was so talented. He still is. He was in my opinion, why Jay-Z and them could get into a different area of competition. It was on the talent of Kanye West. Brilliant young man out of Chicago. So I just want to say, with this particular stage of the Chi-Town group, we have also Rob Blavog. I can't say his name. Blago. They call him, I think, Rod Blago. This guy was corrupt, very much on brand with Chicago. And Hillary, again, this was her golden hour, because according to circles of conspiracy thought, Hillary was only able to run because John F. Kennedy Jr. was killed in the plane crash, remember? And that opened the way for Hillary to take a Senate seat in New York and then run for president. So if John F. Kennedy Jr. had not crashed in that airplane, Hillary would not have had this clear path. So think about, oh my god, okay, I'm saying allegedly, like, if you're doing all this stuff to get rid of your competition and you lose anyway, you still lose. That's really losing. And boy, I'm just saying. Okay, so we see how old Hills and Barack, they were, playing nice with each other. Hey, Juan, welcome. Thank you for joining us this evening. So, you see how they had to play nice during the campaign and everything, the debates, and they got a little touchy. Hillary said some pretty nasty things about Barack. And, she ended up getting a position in his administration, but she went pretty low and pretty, that's how Hills is, though. She fights to the finish. But it was just funny how they were playing nice. All right. I don't know what just happened here, but we see where Joey is the running mate, the vice president. And I just think that when you look at Joe and how he was done, he was promised a certain, trajectory. He really fumbled a lot. You probably heard about his initial run and how he had to get out of the race because he was caught plagiarizing. You remember that? So he didn't have a smooth run to the White House himself. And it seemed like he was a little jealous of this young hotshot, this African American. And I also want to say to anybody who doesn't understand a lot of these labels, Obama is definitely an African American. Okay. So I want you to be like, we can use these terms now for him and people like him. Like Elon Musk is also an African American. Do you see how that works? So Obama, being from Kenya, is an African American. I am not an African American. And people in my bloodline, and we're not African Americans. Do you see that? So, yes, he was an African American. Okay. So, yeah, that is correct if you want to use it that way. And Elon Musk also. So yeah, do you remember Joey said something pretty out of the way? Joey just says the craziest things, like, if you ain't gonna vote for me, you ain't black. And then he called the black children roaches, remember, at the swimming pool. I mean, and he didn't want his kids going to school with them jungle boogie kids. And I mean, he just said all this crazy stuff, but he had something to say, like, well, he speaks really well for a black guy or something like that, right? He's a really well-spoken black guy. Don't say that, please. If you ever want to give that kind of compliment, just know it's a cringy compliment. No, thank you. All right, so yes, I am American. I'm so American. Listen, you could fight me, but I'm so American. I'm like the most blackest American person you ever meet. Anybody with the last name Washington, we are so American. You can't get any more American than a Washington. Okay? Fight me in the comments. Okay, so I wanted to show you this. You've probably seen, but I want to look at it again. Look at how cozy of a handoff this was. We are given all this political theater that these people hate each other, they don't like each other across the aisle. But look at all the coziness between Michelle and W. Michelle is just all hugged up on W. I don't know, Barry, he's looking like I don't know, he's kind of policing this hug a little bit. But they're very cozy, wouldn't you think? So it's just a lot of coziness, and I don't know, it just looks like they're really, look at the hand on the knee. It's very intimate. I would say very intimate, very unifying. And you can see here where Michelle is even real chummy with Barbara and her pearls. And you could just see it almost looks like she's chastising W. W just looks like, I know, he looks like a college frat guy. He just looks like he's always saying inappropriate, like he's the guy that's always making all the sexual jokes inappropriate, like in church. He seems like that kind of guy. And look at the red face. Looks like he had a few. And I'm just saying, allegedly, looks like, to me, looks like he had a few. He's kind of red in the face. And it just looks like she's telling him, don't say that. I don't know. It just looks like it. And you can see her with Jenna visiting the morning show that they were on. And you could just see that it's a lot of love and unity there. Isn't that something? Beautiful, right? So on the political stage, we also have Sarah Palin. Now, I forgot that she was part of the political theater of this time, but Sarah Palin was absolutely cute to me. I love the updo. She had that perfect little updo and the glasses. She was so funny, but she ran with John McCain. And do you remember it? John McCain, his narrative is that he was a war hero, and, that's the story. His daughter, she was on The View, and she was supposed to be a conservative, but she wasn't a conservative. They can't handle conservatives on The View. But Sarah Palin was given, I think they really mocked and ridiculed her mercilessly. And the hypocrisy of the people that do things like that, for her to be one of the first women conservative women, I guess, running for this I don't know. Was she the first? I don't know. But she was treated so poorly, and for her to be a woman, you can see how the hypocrisy of the other side, they will tear down conservative women. It's disgusting. But conservative women are usually very pretty, very beautiful, and feminine. And that could be a problem for the left. They don't like femininity.
What insight into Russian actions, particularly in the last couple of weeks, does the proximity of the state give you?
They're our next door neighbors, and you can actually see Russia from land here in Alaska.
So remember that statement that you can see Russia from Alaska? What was so ridiculous about her saying that, especially when we started looking into the maps and how close we are to the North Pole, and you have the Bering Straits, you have Russia right there. You have the international timeline where you have 2 islands up there, and one is how many hours different? Come on, you all know the mud flutters. You all know about all this. But what she was saying was not ridiculous, or am I losing it? But she said you can see Russia from Alaska. So what was wrong with that, please? Hey, Dana. Dana said they were trying to make her look crazy. Exactly. Juan says if you have a strong telescope, you can. I guess, yeah. And it just depends on where you are in Alaska. And they were just making fun of this humiliation ritual for Sarah. They can't honeypot a female very well. Oh, that's a good point. Yeah, good point. Yeah, so hey, John. John Dunning says Russia once owned Alaska and down to California. Interesting. Let's see. Exactly, you say. And you say I was always baffled by it too. Yeah, well, I went along with the groupthink at that time because I loved Saturday Night Live. I was still liking it back then. And Tina Fey, who's from Philadelphia, by the way, Tina Fey was a perfect person to play Sarah Palin. And Tina Fey really, she roasted Sarah Palin in her, it was brutal. So yeah, that was a rough time for her. Now, when it comes to media, we are seeing how the talk radio was really big and influential. Tina Fey was so funny. She was. Her and Amy Poehler together. Yeah, I am losing it, okay? When they did Baby Mama, that movie, that's making me want to watch that movie, Baby Mama. Dana says the map is distorted. There you are. And if you look at it correctly, you will see how large Africa really is, and other areas are actually smaller than they make them on the sphere, on the globe. There you are. Exactly. Yes, Amy Poehler and Tina Fey were the perfect girl duo. They really were. And then Mean Girls was Poehler in Mean Girls? Something tells me she was. But Tina Fey is very funny to me. I really like her humor. So, okay, we have Rush Limbaugh, and Rush was very influential in talk radio. Did anybody here listen to Rush Limbaugh? He was very polarizing, and his takes were really hard to take by the leftists. They did not like his takes. And yeah, so that was not a good thing for them. He did a lot of damage to the narratives, I'll say. And then we had parody replacing news in a sense, because around this time I really did like to get my news from the Comedy Central channel, which let you know how bad things had gotten if we're getting our news from the comedy channels. But it was a fun way to get the news. I like Talk Soup. Remember Talk Soup and all of those? Spaghetti Cat. Wasn't Spaghetti Cat from Talk Soup? If anybody goes back that far, I love all those quirky shows. But I liked Jon Stewart's The Daily Show when it first started. Jon Stewart is absolutely insufferable and unwatchable to me now. I can't take that they've become so leftist and liberal. There's no balance to anything that they say. And it's just not fun anymore. It's not funny. So he did a lot of influencing, I'll say, of narratives. And of course, when you do it through comedy, you can enter into that gate in your conscience and, pretty much implant all kinds of ideas, right? Beth is saying I wasn't political back then. How do you name your baby Rush? Was that his actual name? Let me look up his real name. Was his actual name Rush? I thought that was maybe a show name, but let's see. Rush Limbaugh. Does anybody know all right, his name was Rush. You're right. His actual birth name is Rush Hudson Limbaugh III. So they did this 3 times. Rush is a family name for him. So there you are. Did not know that. Like I said, I thought it was a showbiz name. All right, so now we're looking at the shenanigans in the financial sector. And we have Bernie Madoff and the whole Ponzi scheme that the banking institution was exposed to be. I'm sure some people already knew that it was a Ponzi scheme. But when Bernie Madoff made off with all that money and the exposing of his lifestyle and just how very degenerate it was to rob people of their life savings and just have just no conscious, nothing, just reprobate mind. Greedy as greedy could be. And basically they were likening him to the Joker. And then we have the other financial guys. You have Ben Bernanke. Do you remember him? He was a name that was constantly thrown around. So you have Ben Bernanke as well as the other guy, Paulson. Then you also have the Lehman Brothers, the Too Big to Fail brothers. They were one of the oldest, largest investment banks, and they collapsed. And that triggered the global financial, basically, bleed out that happened. So Ben Bernanke, let's see, he was the guy over the Federal Reserve. And it was that whole thing, it just bothers me, the Federal Reserve, because it's never been audited. And, they play all these games with this currency, this unreal currency, and the subprime lending that was happening, and just really crazy stuff going on. So Ponzi schemes is actually named after a guy named Charles Ponzi. He was the guy that invented this type of financial shenanigan. So you have Bernie Madoff, and this young man, Heath Ledger. This is the year that Heath Ledger was found dead in his apartment. And the reason that was given was that he overdosed, and his friends and whoever worked for him from what I remember, they didn't call for help right away. I think they called one of the Ashley twins came over. Do you remember that very strange narrative? I think one of the Ashley Olsen, I don't know which Olsen twin came over. Madoff name equals Madoff. It's all in the names, isn't it? They're just laughing at us. Let's see. Jeffrey is saying Rush. He threw to the other side. Oh, yes, I have heard that. So he's the one that they say, Jim Morrison. Oh, I've heard something like that. I have. I think IG Roller Disco agrees with you on that. Oh, okay. So we have Heath Ledger, and he played this was his last role as the Joker, The Dark Knight. It was named. Did anyone watch The Dark Knight? I didn't watch it. I don't know. I just wasn't interested. Too weird for me. And I was working in psychiatric nursing probably at the time. I don't need to see a movie about what I go to work and see every day. So yeah, no thanks. But yeah, this role destroyed him mentally. It was a good movie. I've heard it was a really good movie. It influenced a lot of people. I think didn't he dress up like the Joker? And I think the studio that owns that brand, they told Diddy to not dress like that. He could not wear the Joker. That's you got to be pretty bad if they don't want you in the Joker costume. So yeah, so this role for him, it destroyed him mentally, spiritually, because I believe he was a method actor. But even if you're not a method actor, if you're taking on a certain role and you're doing this day in and day out in the makeup and everything, something happens to you. And some people believe it's a gateway and a portal for the spirits that are betwixt the natural world and the spiritual world. Just as quickly, the Nephilim, the children of the angels and the daughters of men, who are now in between two worlds. They cannot go anywhere but inside of a body. So they look for bodies, and I believe that this craft of acting is a portal if you invite the entity in. And some people do invite the entities in, and they let the entity drive the car, which is their body, their soul. While they're playing this role, they will allow that entity to drive the car. But the only thing about entities, if you don't know what you're dealing with, what order of entity you're inviting into your body, that entity might not let you sit in the passenger seat. They may put you in the trunk, okay? And that's the deal that some people make unknowingly. You're not going to be in the passenger seat enjoying this ride with this entity. They're going to throw your ass in the trunk and you're not getting out. So that's the risk. And I think Heath Ledger took a risk like that. Entities basically threw him in the trunk, and he couldn't regulate, and that was it for him. I just feel that's my take on it. I could be totally wrong, but a very tragic thing. You have to be very careful inviting entities in. And I believe this woman also invited some dark entities into her as well. And if you look at how she started out, very promising, very strong voice. This woman was amazing from across the pond, and just everything about her was just so, I don't know, she came off as something novel, even though it was vintage and throwback. It was like when Sade came through and she had that British band, you know, whatever they were called. What's the name of that band? The Guru, he knows. I forgot. Is it Wetback? No, not Wetback, Sweetback. Sorry, I didn't mean to say that. Sweetback. That was the band, and the band was like a 60s type of vibe. And when she came through, it reminded me of the Sade thing. Even, you know, they're both from across the pond, and they had an appreciation for the old soul and R&B and all of the blues and everything. So this woman appreciated good music, and she trailblazed a path. But the thing about her and what happens to talent like her, I believe she had a very tender heart, and she was definitely in a very toxic relationship, and she also had unregulated habits of drinking and drugging, and this is only going to be exacerbated by the industry. And I want to say something about success. When you succeed in this world, and that would be all of entertainment in all of its iterations, when you succeed in that world, every time you are given accolades, don't think that it feels great afterwards. It's almost like when you are built up and you're given all those accolades, you're worshiped, which human beings should never be worshiped. We can't handle, we were not built to be worshiped. And that's my opinion. It will end up ruining you if you welcome people worshiping you and idolizing you. It's a recipe for a fall. So what happens when you are successful and people are paying you all of this, you know, accolades, it makes you very insecure. And it kind of it doesn't make sense, I know. But every time they are just showered with this fame, it only makes them more vulnerable. So that's the disconnect with people who want to become famous and want to be adored and worshiped. When they get what they want, ultimately, it destroys them because they really didn't know what it was. It just looks good from the television. So this woman here, to me, could not handle fame at all. She was very fragile. And if you look at just some of the pictures of her, you see the blonde hair, of course, that ritual going on. And this particular year, she was being celebrated for a song called Rehab. No, no, no. She doesn't want to go to rehab. And this is art imitating life, life imitating art. But look at her when she was, you know, before the fame. She looked like a healthy woman. And just, was she part of the 27 Club? Let me see. Let me double check. I think she was part of the 27 Club. If you don't know about the 27 Club, that is an unfortunate club for a lot of these people. They are taken out at 27. Yes, she was 27, and her death was due to alcohol poisoning. Interestingly, she had an album called Back to Black, September 14th. So she was a hard worker. And yeah, very sad. So she took herself out, or somebody took her out. Now, this is what I mean about this retrospective and how it's helping me to see things, because it was difficult to see it while we were traveling the timeline. I am calling it a line, although it's not linear, but for lack of another term, this was the year that Beyonce, who was in her prime, she let us know that she had invited an entity into her body. And you can see her, this is when she used to do interviews. And this interview with Oprah, and you can see Mama Tina over there sitting with her. And Beyonce let the world know that she invited an entity that she named Sasha Fierce. And yeah, that entity that she invited into her body, and she even has a song, Get Bodied, which I look at it differently, Get Bodied. So now that she has invited this entity in, you can see that her trajectory changed even more. She just became such an idol, an American, international idol. And they claim that she has surpassed Michael Jackson in many of the metrics. I don't know if that's true. I know that they put a lot of sauce on their facts, but that's what they claim. So we have Beyonce hosting a very ancient deity, demon, and it's a high price. I'll just say high price she has paid. And interestingly, we have the Carter album, the Carter, and then we have the Carters, Jay-Z and Beyonce. I just wonder, is a lot of Carters here. But you can just see how Beyonce was embracing this this new experience. I don't know what to call it. This new role of hers to be the hostess of an ancient entity. It would change her face even sometimes. I could see whenever that entity, it was just, a lot of people saw it. It changed her whole countenance at times. And the fierce name that they added to, the entity, it was very perfectly named. Now, this is also the year when Britney Spears made a comeback. And they love the comebacks. They are great for views, and people are definitely into a good comeback story. And we saw where she crashed out the year before after performing at the MTV Music Awards and then going to hang out with Diddy. And then the next thing you know, she's crashing out and cutting her hair and looking like, she's in the MK Ultra programming. So now they're going to let us know, they're telling us, and we're supposed to believe that Britney is having a comeback the next year. It's no wonder this woman is on the edge. When you think about it, she's pushed back onto the stage, and it's called circus. So it's right there. So she is a part of the circus, and they treated her like a circus animal, in my opinion. They don't care about her. And in terms of another comeback story, we have Robert Downey Jr. having a huge comeback story because he had hit the skids pretty badly. He was on all kinds of substances. And he's one of those Hollywood kids. I remember as a Gen X growing up and watching a lot of movies with him in it, 16 Candles, cute stuff. He was in all those Brat Pack kind of movies. I think, wasn't he in The Breakfast Club? The Breakfast Club? Not the one with Charlemagne the idiot, but The Breakfast Club movie. I think he was in that movie, The Breakfast Club. Great movie. Great time for movies, in my opinion. But he hit the skids pretty hard. And if you remember, if you were part of Gen X and you followed along with some of these movies, he was in one of my favorite movies because I read the book, Less Than Zero. Do you remember that movie, Less Than Zero? Phoebe Cates, I think, was in that movie. Let me find out who was in the cast of Less Than Zero. Anybody watch Less Than Zero? When he played the role in that movie, I think that really, again, was like art imitating life. It was a very disturbing role that he played. Let's see but he played like a drug addict in the movie. He was doing all kinds of things like Jamie Gertz, that's her name. I don't know why I thought what did I say? Phoebe Cates? No, Jamie Gertz was his girlfriend and he was Julian. Remember Jamie Gertz was always, her name was Blair, and she was always Julian, pulling him out of situations. He was turning tricks for his fixes. It was very sad. Andrew McCartney was in this. This was from a novel, a 1985 novel by Bret Easton Ellis. Bret Easton Ellis, he wrote a lot of stories like that dealt with like the LA life. And I was visiting LA a lot back then. A lot of my Spelman and Morehouse friends, they lived in LA. I have a lot of family in LA. So LA back then was just so awesome. And yeah, so that movie was, I think LA was almost like the main character of that movie. Anybody else? Jamie Gertz. You remember Jamie Gertz. Yeah, I love, isn't she married to an actor? I think she's married to somebody that's in the industry, I think. Let's see. Beth is saying, this is on the edge when you think it's pushed back onto the stage, and it's called circus sex kitten programming. It's horrific for these women. I feel so sorry for them. So that's what Britney is involved in. Unfortunate stuff. I mean, is there any coming back for her? A redemptive arc. We all want a redemptive arc for anyone, I would think. Now, this was the narrative on Robert Downey Jr. is he was living through an amazing redemptive arc, coming back from, the skids and being the star of the Iron Man movie, which that franchise, I think he continues to be in it. So I think he did turn his life around somewhat. Now, let's go and look at Kanye West around this time. I want you to just take it in. What Kanye West was on back then. He was the, straight-laced, very preppy almost, modern preppy. What would you call this style that he wore? It was transforming, but I like this initial style that he was sporting. He's a very fashionable person. He's, very avant-garde and just a creative. But this was his girlfriend at the time. So he was dating this woman. Her name, let me see. Does anybody know her name? I forgot it. Okay, Kanye's. Okay, so you call that the GQ look? I guess, yeah, they did used to call that the GQ. So, his girlfriend. And this girlfriend, she was around his mother. You'll see pictures of her with Donda. So Donda loved her. Looks like. What is her name? Okay, here it is. Alexis Pfeiffer. So her name is Alexis Pfeiffer. Beautiful woman. And when I look at him with her, it's just interesting to see how people transform that industry, what it does to people. He was hungry to get into the game, and you can just see he was just fresh faced and just looked like a normal guy from Chicago. And again, the girlfriend just has a different frequency to it. And then comes Kim. And when you look at this picture and you look how she's all up on him, it looks like a play, doesn't it? I think it looks like a play to me. So Kim got him. And we know how that worked out. I do think that, no, actually, I remember Kanye. I think he was on Drink Champs. And I think he mentioned that Diddy was the one that put them together. Diddy was a matchmaker. He put a lot of people together. He had a roster of women, I think, that he would pair up like he did with Nipsey, you know, things like that, bring in a woman and things happen. It's that sex kitten programming. Yeah. Depends on how you were trained. Some women are trained to be sex kittens, some are trained to be assassins. Right? If you know, you know. I always tell you that was the track they were training me to be, an assassin, not a sex kitten. But you know me, I don't go with the programming. I break through all the programming. So that's why I'm not popular. I don't go along. Okay. So anyway, let's move on. Now for the more political theater, we're talking about Rob Blago. They call him Rob Blago. This guy wanted to sell. Can you imagine the audacity of this type of corruption? This is on brand again for Chicago. We have this guy Blago. He's trying to sell his seat, his governor's seat, governor of Illinois, right? Wait, let me double check. So the nerve of this guy. But it must have been going on if he couldn't have gotten the idea just in the year 2008. This had to be something that has been going on. I'm just thinking. So yeah, he thought he could sell his seat. He got caught. And now, when I think about him getting caught doing this, I'm wondering now, was this a way to clean up some of the people they needed to get out of the way to really clear a path? If you know what I'm getting at, clear a path for the golden boy to maybe get rid of certain people, because I did hear a lot of narratives of people that were taken out even. The guy at the church over there in Chicago in the choir, he was taken out. Thank you, Molly. Thank you for the super sticker. I appreciate that, Molly. Thank you. So what do you think, Molly? Do you have any ideas on why did he go to jail? Yeah. You said the pastor in Chicago? No, not the pastor. It was a guy in the choir. Now, talk about a small world. The pastor of that church in Chicago where they all attended, I think even Oprah went to that church. Um, that was the son of my pastor in Philadelphia. Can you believe that? I went to a church in Philadelphia, Germantown Baptist, and that was the dad of that pastor in Chicago. Believe it or not. Crazy. Blog Blagojevic. Blagog, I can't say that name. Blagovich. I remember when they were saying it on TV a lot. Maybe I could say it then. But so Blago, he was I think it wasn't it a governor seat that he tried to sell? Let me just double check this. Because it's totally crazy. But yeah, I think that maybe he was just not playing along somehow. This was a retaliative move. All right, so what are they saying about him? Dana said Chicago is the devil's den. Yeah, it is pretty much the devil's den. I would not argue that. All right, I'm trying to find out, it was a governor's seat. Wasn't he the governor? Just remind me real quick. No, it was a Senate seat. Rod Blagojevich. He tried to sell a Senate seat and got caught. And he had to go to prison. So that kind of stuff it seemed to be happening a lot. The one thing about him that was so funny to me is the hair. I don't know if it's the barber in me. I think he would kill your clippers. He's got thick hair. Yeah, it's very thick. You have to have some strong clippers for that. But look at that hair. Is that amazing? I'm just amazed at that hair. It looks like a wig, but it's all his. And he had to do the shameful press conference with the wife, and look at his wife. I don't know why these press conferences make me laugh when the wife is looking at him like, I swear when we get home. Look at her looking at him. So, yeah, those are hilarious. So he was the governor. He was running for governor. Oh, okay. He was the governor and then was running for Senate for Illinois. Interesting. Yes, John, on the world stage, image is everything. Yes, it is. Image crafting. Karen, I just raised a question. How many more of them sold a seat? We just didn't find out about it. Exactly, Karen. That's what my thinking was. If he was doing this, it couldn't have been a novel idea or concept. I'm sure this was the reg. And he just, I think he just ran afoul of the machine. And maybe he wasn't getting in line. Like Martha Stewart wasn't getting in line. And they had to show her. What's funny is he has a sense of humor. He said, just finished a 7.5-mile run in 93-degree weather. I haven't sweat this much since my sentencing. You got to love a guy who has a good sense of humor. And I think they had a lot of fun with him on SNL. But look at these various his hair is a whole vibe. Yes, he was on The Apprentice. Molly, I didn't see it, but I used to love The Apprentice. But yeah, he was on one of those seasons of The Apprentice. Too funny. Too funny. So next we have another guy getting into some trouble. And the thing about this kind of trouble, it always gets these guys caught up. We have Elliot Spitzer. So Elliot Spitzer is they called him the what is it? The sheriff of Wall Street. He was the anti-corruption crusader. And he was taken down by a hoe. Taken down by a hoe. It's an old story. So let's check this out. If you don't remember. Whoa, Dana said, wait a minute. Oh, so Blago was convicted on 18 counts of wire fraud, bribery, and extortion. And he was sentenced to 14 years in the feds. Look at that. Wow. His sentence was commuted by President Trump. Okay. Wow. All right. So we're talking about Elliot Spitzer right now. In this particular year, he was caught up in a prostitution situation. And the lady of the night, day, brunch, whatever time that he met up with her, he was a VIP for the services. And he would meet her at the, what was it called? The Emperor Hotel or something. They met at the Emperor Hotel. And they had their trysts at this place. And pretty much this is what brought him down. And that's the thing about getting involved with these kind of women. It doesn't end well. It never does. And it didn't end well for him. So he got caught and everything was out the window for him. So he was meeting her and he was a VIP, and his name when he met with her was Client 9. Client 9. Hotel, motel, Holiday Inn. There you are. It's a trap. It's a honey trap. And they fall for it every time. They think they're going to be the smart one. So yeah, he got caught up with the, and you know, like I said, he was known as the sheriff of Wall Street. And you can see his press conference of shame with the wife. What is it with these they don't have them anymore, but it was just a whole thing of these press conferences. And I think I always enjoyed watching them. It was just, I guess it does look like a humiliation ritual at this point. You're right. Whoever said that earlier. What the heck? So you could see this chick, she had fun. Mission accomplished. She's doing the peace sign. She's like, peace out. Got him. Got him. So his career and maybe marriage was over. And now we have 44 entering the White House. And like I said, when we get closer to 2016, 17, 18, these retrospectives are about to get real wild because we're going to get into the WikiLeaks of it all, the Pizzagate, the hot dogs at $60,000 being flown in from Chicago, allegedly. Do you remember? We're going to get reminders about all of this. And when we look at it from the retrospective viewpoint, we're going to pick up a lot of patterns that we were not able to see while this was unfolding. That's why I'm really excited to get into those particular episodes. So I'm looking forward to it, and I hope you are too. Dad loved Rush. Oh, Dad loved Rush, did he? 60. Oh, I was off by 5,000. $65,000 worth of hot dogs being flown in, right? Wasn't it from Chicago? They were flown in, these hot dogs. Remind me where they flew the hot dogs in from. Because I remember it was Chicago. So I want you to look at 44, and I want you to look at how he treats the Oval Office. I found this to be very off-putting. Does anybody see anything weird about, just look at his posturing while he's in the people's house, the Oval Office? What do you notice? It was Chicago? Okay, thank you for confirming. So $65,000 worth of hot dogs being flown into the White House from Chicago. Oh, yeah, just normal stuff, right? Very normal. We're the crazy conspiracy theorists, but thank God it is all we're being vindicated every day. Yes, the retrospective is stitching it all together. It really is. For me, it really is. I'm recognizing patterns. I'm waiting to see if anybody sees anything off with these visuals. What do you see when you look at him in the Oval Office? What's going on here? To me, I see, yeah, not so serious looking, very casual. Dana said he's showing how big his feet are not. Oh. Oh boy, Dana. I think I know where you're going with that. But to me, what's off-putting is the feet on the furniture. Maybe it was how I was raised. To put your feet on furniture is really off-putting. I remember I traveled with a former friend of mine, and we were visiting a friend, and my friend's parent, like, she's Dominican, from the Dominican Republic, and her parents only spoke Spanish, and just really sweet people. And we were staying, they hosted us when I had gone down to the Caribbean to visit. And this particular friend, she's putting her feet on their furniture like we're guests. And it was just so cringy, but it shows you what people are made of when they do things like this. To put your feet on, I mean, he's got his foot on the desk while he's talking on the phone. He's sitting on the desk. He's got his feet up. It shows a lack of respect for the office, which I think he totally disrespected. I really believe that he was a Manchurian candidate to do a lot of destruction, a lot of racial dividing, even though he came from the womb of a white woman. He came right out of the womb of a white woman. But nobody gives white women credit for him. But that's the womb that he came from. But he was a very destructive force. He did nothing for black people because he is not a foundational black American. Okay? And I'm going to keep making that delineation. He is an African American. So he was sent in to do a lot of destruction, in my opinion. And he's showing his utter lack of respect for the office. And we know, we heard on the hot mics when him and Michelle were looking, they were doing the Pledge of Allegiance or whatever. And they're like, all this over a flag. Yeah, all this over a flag. That's right. All this over a flag. These people don't want us, especially foundational black Americans. They want to separate us from this nation. They don't want us to be patriotic. They want us to always have grievances with America, to be othered, and we are waking up. Conservative foundational black Americans are waking up. And this flag, yes, this is our flag. We don't have foreign flags that we're flying. This is our flag, okay? And Obama and his crew did not want us to love our nation. I see him for what he is right now. I really do. It's real clear. I lost some family members over not worshiping him. I had an uncle who wanted to physically harm me because I didn't like Obama. I had to agree with everything that he was about. I had to worship him. He said, this is history. This is like Martin Luther King." And I'm like, "Whatever." But I'm not joining in, and I'm not going along to get along. I will not get along then. I'm okay being by myself. I'm okay. I was born alone. I'm going to die alone. I don't need to be with a crowd of people for my identity. So I'm real clear on what I'm seeing. Yeah, very clear. And it's just more and more of these images of him with the feet on the furniture. And if somebody came to visit my mom, my home when I was growing up, if someone came to my grandmother's home in West Philadelphia and put their feet on her furniture, and she did not live in the White House, they would listen, that would be the last time they would ever do that in her home. And I find this highly offensive. It's low vibrational. It's terrible. It just shows utter lack of, I don't know what was on that page, but I will fix it. All right. So I'm going to fix this because I think I have a couple of more slides. So while I am doing that, let's listen to something. It's like an anthem for all of us who have lost friends and family over your opinion and your political beliefs, your right to your own mind. This is dedicated to you, okay? They weren't your friends anyway. You don't need them. I wouldn't trust them anyway if we became friends again. I wouldn't even want to eat or drink anything from people that would stop talking to you just because of what you think. So here you go. I don't know if you can hear it. How's it sound? I'm going to work on this particular thing that let me know, Karen, how are we sounding? I stand alone. I don't fold. 10 toes down in my soul. Say what you want. I won't go where I don't recognize my own. I stand alone. I don't fold. Can't sell my peace for your mode. If I lose all, still hold everything I know is gold. They try to read me like a script. Told me where I shouldn't drift. Keep it quiet, play safe. Smile nice, stay in your place. But I've been peeping all the shit. Who get love and who get clipped. All that pressure just to fit. Felt like I was losing grip. Nah, I had to step back, breathe. Ask myself who I be. If I trade truth just to stay, what's left of me at the end of the day? I stand alone. I don't fold. Turned it up. Is that good? Funny how the love go thin. When you don't echo back, they spin. Same smile turn cold quick. When you don't move hot, they predict. I seen crowds switch overnight. Turn on you for thinking right. That I ain't built for borrowed views. I'd rather stand and blend with you. We coming solo, we lead the same. Coming solo. alone.
I stand alone. I stand alone.
Don't fold.
In my soul, say what you want. Don't go. I don't recognize my own. I stand alone. Don't fold. Kiss on my peace. Don't know if I lose all. I still hold everything I know is gold.
Don't apologize to them either. I wish Chili hadn't apologized to them. Because they're not going to accept your apology, so why are you doing it?
I already know my role. Yeah. I'm good.
So, I think that was it for the slides, actually. That was it. So basically, the year brought us the financial collapse, pretty much. This is what we were looking at in 2008. And now, I guess, looking at it, like I said, in retrospect, I can see how we are where we are, especially with the racial division and all of the division. And we're beginning to wake up in a great way, even though the system is crying like it's on its last leg in terms of the culture that dominated us. They're not dominating anymore. They're losing influence by the minute. And eventually they will lose so much that they'll just be laughed at. It's no power whatsoever. So just be resilient, continue to be resilient at this time, and endure, because you've already endured so much. And this is just a short season. I don't think it's going to last a long time. It's already been a long time. Just continue to pray for the kingdom to come. We are prepared for this time. I agree, Molly. You were born for such a time as this, and you can continue to endure. And all of that rejection from the fake friends and the fake family members that can't accept that you think differently, and they have to keep on with this, oh, Trump is this and a monster, and just because you're a conservative, you're bad to them. So be it. It's their loss, not yours. Because you came into the world alone, like I said. You did not come into the world with a sorority, a group, a fraternity, a secret society. You didn't come here with all that. So if they don't want you in their lives because you think different than they do, so be it. Too bad we couldn't have gotten to Rosanda Thomas, Chili. Let them fire you off of that tour. Don't sell yourself out, because a lot of times that's your protection. When people reject you, That's your protection. And you don't want to be a part of anything that you have to think a certain way. I can't personally. I never could. So I don't go with the programming, like I told you. They have tried to get me so many times, and I just slip out. I slide out, right? So no. Yeah. Just keep being resilient. And I'm going to share more. I had a letter that the first part of a letter that I released, and it deals with resilience, and I just want to share how I have overcome so much. Like I told you, I was initiated into a life that I rejected, you know. I was going to be one of those women that were the like I told you, an assassin. That was the program I was in, to become an assassin. Yes. And I rejected all of it. I did not play along. And I had to pay a price for that, a great price. But my soul is still intact. I am beholding to no one but the Most High Yah. So I got through, and I'll share with you. I'm going to have the second part of that correspondence letter. I'll let you know. And I read it out loud, and I give you the link for that, and I'll keep you posted. But I'm going to do the second part of that letter. I want to thank you all for supporting my work. If you want to continue to support my work, I always tell you, I won't fight you on that. If you want to know how to do that, simply, you want to do that for now. And I want to appreciate you. I want to thank you for coming by, and thank you for the super stickers and everything. And yes, I will play Jubilee, because that is what I keep speaking, Jubilee. And I'm going to read more about Jubilee. I'm going to read from the book of Jubilees. I'm going to share more of that, because we're getting into some really interesting, like I said, parts of this retrospective. And this is where we all met up. Okay. Right around 2019, 2020, a lot of the young people on TikTok are starting to talk about a lot of things like that we were talking about. I see that the guru has all these funny inside jokes, but yeah, I want to definitely, let me serenade you with Jubilee, and I want you to think about Jubilee. That is the frequency. That's where we're headed. And the forces of evil, they are being vanquished. I needed to use that word. I like that word, vanquished. All right.
Yeah. Let it go. You made
They're
it
here. You can't see, they're here.
This right here. It's your Jubilee.
Thank you, Karen. Thank you, everybody, for joining. Love you. We'll continue with the next episode. I'll keep you posted.
What was always meant for me
You like that one? I'll play one more. I want to play one. It has a violin, and I think of Noel Pointer. Does anybody know Noel Pointer? I went to one of his concerts at the Fox Theater in Atlanta, and he used to play this amazing electric blue violin. Amazing, beautiful violin. And this reminds me of him, and I want you to just listen to it, okay? I actually named this electric blue violin. Hope you enjoy it. Thank you again, everybody who hung out with me this evening for episode 44. I'll see you for episode 45. Take care.